boy bleeds. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
How about now? Can you hear me? Hello. All right. I have no idea. This is StreamYard. StreamYard is bullshit. Anyway, let's try this again. Welcome to the Believes Crypto Show. My name is Believes. I'm coming to you from the Believes studio here in Cleveland, just outside of Chicago. And we're going to talk about how all of these influencers and how all of these people like me are scamming you. Am I scamming you? Probably. Do I mean to be doing it? No. Can you help it? Maybe. But I'm going to give you exactly what's going on. I'm going to tell you exactly how you are being scammed every single day. And I'm going to show you the difference sometimes between you're still getting scammed a lot of times. I just want to say that. But nobody knows it. We don't understand. And I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show it to you. So make sure you hit the like button on the way in because you might get like butthole cancer. I mean, you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen because, ew, gross. You know what I mean? Like, ugh. Anyway, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Believes Crypto channel. It's $4.99 a month. By the way, just to give you guys some full disclosure here, if I had 10,000 people signed up and members of the channel, we would never get scammed ever again. Liquidity would not transfer from anybody else to somebody else unless you wanted it. So sign up, become a member of the channel, help me out. That helps you out, and that helps everybody out if you enjoy the channel. So let's talk about the anatomy of a meme coin scam. J. Manuel says this. He says, did you make money on Crocky? I did not. As a matter of fact, I didn't buy it. I was contacted about the launch, and it was so. Let me, Crocky might be an example here, but not the best of examples because I like Roger and I think Roger's a very nice guy. And I think Roger is just Roger has a community of people and Roger is trying to make money for a community of people. But let's take it just a moment here. Again, I didn't make anything on Crocky because I didn't buy any Crocky. I was at the gym when the launch happened. Look, the last one that Roger launched, I was live streaming. So it was an hour late and I ended up losing money. The one before that, I got in almost at launch and I made, as a matter of fact, I can actually show you exactly what I made because I'm up still, but I don't know if you guys can see the whole thing here, but boom, that should show you pretty much. You can see right there, everything in those wallets is under $100. I put $100 into these wallets and it is now 150, 200, about 220. So I made about $100 2 launches ago and I'm still sitting on it. I'm still kind of holding the floor. Okay. So anyway, here's what happens. So the anatomy of a meme coin scam is this: the dev, which is the developer, that's the person that launches whatever it is. They set up a launch and they let insiders know that there's money to be made. They go into, they set everything up, they get ready, they make their launch, and then they let all of their buddies know. And by the way, not just their buddies, but anybody who is a quote unquote insider. Doesn't have to be your best friend, just has to be somebody like, for example, an investor, somebody that you've done business with before, somebody who can provide liquidity, anything like that. The insider is the person that helps you financially get people to pay attention to the project. Okay. So in this situation, I am either an insider or a KOL. KOL, you can see down here with the beautiful face here. Then you get people involved. And by the way, when I say KOL, it's a key opinion leader. That's what KOL means. Okay. So what they're supposed to do, or what I'm supposed to do, is say, hey guys, found this amazing project right now that I think you guys should check out. And then you buy in and then you become exit liquidity. Now, here's the issue, right? If it's not always, and by the way, these are not cut and dry items. Okay. Let's say this developer here launches a project and the project has a cute name. And people like it. the insiders get in, the insiders make a ton of money. Let me show you, or let me give you an example of one that actually happened real time that we made 300x off of. And that was this little bitch right here, Little Puff. Okay. Little Puff, we got in on, and does that make us insiders? You know, that's the question. Does that make us insiders? Remember this, guys? We ended up going to the moon. We had a 300x off of this. I put in $50. I cashed out, I want to say about $450. Something like that. 100, 250, something like that. I cashed out a couple $100 when I got like a 12x. Then I let the rest ride. My total haul off of Puff was somewhere in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $10,000. Okay. Because I got in when I got the original signal, and this was Jeff Kiradikis. Now, if you don't know who Jeff Kiradikis is, that's okay. Most people don't, but he is an early Bitcoin investor, and he's built quite the little community of people who, again, he gets people into his channels. He gives them a new launch, and he gives them an opportunity for gains. You are on your own, though. Let's be very, very clear. Jeff is just playing a game. Okay. What he's trying to do is he's trying to create opportunity for his investor people to make money. Not you, not me, them. So those are the insiders. So the insiders, which I happen to be because I got in early, the insiders get these gains. The insiders then sell up in this range, and then everybody else gets to dump out. And then look at this. You're still higher than you were in the beginning. Then you get your little secondary pump and stuff like that. And that's basically, I mean, look at it right there. That is the end of this project. I mean, that is an absolute, it looks like rug pull, right? I mean, that's really what this looks like. But that does not belie the fact that because we got in as insiders, we made enormous gains. The problem was very simple, okay? Some of us, we think that meme coins are going to all go parabolic. But most meme coins are just unsupported messes that are never going to do anything because they're not really supported and they're launched by the same people. Jeff, by the way, I don't know if you guys pay attention to this. I get information every once in a while. We had one up here the other day that we were talking about called Moon. That was also Jeff. We've had 4 or 5 or 6 other ones that we've seen over the last couple months. Every single one of them are Jeff Kiradikis. He launches every few months. He launches a new meme coin and boom, runs it up, dumps on everybody, and then goes on to the next one. And then in the event that the community that is part of, like, for example, the Puff community, if the Puff community is if he's created enough of a community at the bottom who's still kind of working on it, who's still like down here, and they're like, hey, what's going to go? It's going to go. It's going to go. And they're sharing the content, and then boom, 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 boom. You go, back up again, and you get another pump out of it. And then there's more money to be made off of it. That happens a lot as well. But nobody's creating value in meme coin communities. Very few people. I mean, let's go around and really look at what's going on in meme coin communities. Unless it's a community-based thing, SHIB is really the only meme coin. Maybe Pudgy Penguins. I don't know if you even call it a meme coin, but those are the only ones that are really building. You know what I mean? Very, very, very limited. And remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2021, there was the scam was there were a list of utilities. First utility, they called it a utility, by the way, and I'm not shitting you about this either. They called it a utility, okay? Burns or Reflections. Burns or Reflections, one of those two. Those were both called utilities by developers and by the people who keep getting wrecked because they keep buying into these meme coins, and then they were convinced, like, it's a use case. A swap. So it turns out you can just like copy and paste a swap. The only thing, a swap, by the way, just so you guys understand here, and I'm not, I'm not dumping on anybody, but VultiSwap, if you guys remember VultiSwap, we did that before, right? VultiSwap, takes about 30 minutes to put together. And you can copy VoltiSwap from Volt Inu. All you have to do is copy and paste the code and change a couple of addresses for where it runs. Done. That's it. That's all it takes. Okay. Now, VoltiChange right here, this VoltiChange right here, something entirely different. That's an actual that's an actual portal to Uniswap. Okay, so it's a little bit different. VoltiSwap, just an exchange. That's all it was. And by the way, it doesn't generate very much revenue. That's the whole part to it. Video games, people, we launch a game because the game was going to change the world. And what did you get when you come into these and you say there's a meme coin out here and we're going to launch this game and it's going to be awesome, and you're in here thinking like, oh, Grand Theft Auto, maybe like Skyrim, maybe something like that. And what do they give you? They give you a side-scrolling platformer that's just a waste of goddamn time. And then maybe, just maybe, you might earn some tokens if you win the game or you do something. And then guess what? All you're doing at that point is plumbing the liquidity pool for more money. All right. So, and by the way, I am a supporter, even though I am no longer partnered with, have not really talked about or barely talked about in 2 years. I support Volt. I really hope that Volt has just a magnificent run and validates a lot of the hope and dreams and stuff like that these guys have had. And by the way, when you look at this right here, like even though it hasn't been incredible, okay, and the run has been a problem, you have VoltiChange, VoltiEco, you have playable NFTs, you have VoltiCard, you have VoltiSoft, you have 3 video games, 2 legitimate video games, and 1 kind of online game that you can play with Volt. They've actually built something there that, it's not revolutionary, but they've put in the work. So I'm a little off track on that, but let's get back over to it. So again, developer launches, insiders get the money, KOLs get hired. Like, people come to me and they say, hey man, we want you to talk about this project. Okay. And we'll give you $1,000 to make this video. So then I go out on my channel and I make a video, and I make the video about whatever it is. Whether it be, let's see here. What do I do here? Get wrecked. By the way, if you bought Get Wrecked, that wreck token over the weekend, you got a nice big gain out of it if you bought it early. Amazing. If you bought Chew, you might have gotten a nice gain off of it. Snorter, you didn't get anything off of. Matter of fact, just so you guys know, YouTube had a problem. They had a big problem with this one, and they demonetized and everything on Snorter. There's not much that I could do either. Maxi Doge. And by the way, here's where it's going to get interesting. Remember, we talk about a lot of these all the time. A lot of these are based on pre-sales. Maxi Doge, pre-sale. There was, what's the other one here? We had Simon over here, Simon the Gator. And by the way, some of these are fun. But they're meme coins, okay? So what they're looking to do is they're looking for me to promo this for you. Why? Because they want you to buy. Now, if you buy, and by the way, this is where I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit, okay? So they want you who watch me to buy. If you buy, then that adds more holders. Some of them will then sell. But if you buy and you hold, now they have a higher floor. So they go to another influencer who does the same thing. And if they get people to buy, you got a bigger floor. And if they do it again, you got a bigger floor. And then you have it again, you're going to get a bigger floor and a bigger floor. So I'm not saying that they're all scamming. I'm not saying that you're all like everything is a scam. There's a lot of people out here that just want to pump a meme coin or something like that. Now they're creating a business that doesn't do anything, but they're trying to create a business. In their mind, they're trying to create a business, a functioning business with whatever meme coin it is. Okay. That's what they're trying to do. And many of these people, they know that there's a finite amount. They know that there's no utility, there's no use case and everything like that, but there's a hype train. And what are meme coins built on? Three things: community, community, and community. So if they can continue to expand the community, the price is going to continue to go up. At some point, community will contract. When the community contracts and people start to see that, price goes way, way, way down. And you see this on every one of the charts, okay? But that's not the scam. That's just, again, that's just what happens. The scam here is when you know that it's going to happen, okay? So Dev creates something, Dev launches the project, the insiders get in early. And by the way, insider, there's also market makers, things like that. Blackerjack says he remembers passive income and burn mechanisms were a thing with crypto. I think it was the right track, but maybe a higher percentage would have been better. Well, the right track would be, look, if you want to burn your supply, it's an interesting concept, but that's not a utility. Passive income is not a utility. And now you might be saying to yourself, what are you talking about, bro? If I could take $1 million and I can get 5% interest off of it, that's $50,000 a year. So if I have $3 million and I stake $3 million with somebody at 5% interest, that's $150,000 a year. That is passive income. Why wouldn't I like that? I would love that. I would love that. That's not the issue. The issue with the passive income is the income is coming from the same developer. It's from the same pool, okay? They're not making any money. They're just giving your money away. And I hope you understand that. This, when somebody does this and they say that I've got this game where you can earn passive income, first of all, in order for it to be passive income, you have to generate revenue. If you're not generating revenue, that is to say, if people are not buying whatever you're selling or your product, then you're going to drain the liquidity. To give you an example here, where's Blocky? Okay, so if Blocky came up with a game, and by the way, this is again, look, this is what happened with Blocky. Okay, same thing that happened with Puff. By the way, it got the big move to the upside, then it got the breakdown, and then it's had two secondary test pumps. Now, for me, I think that Blocky will have a nice little reversal and a nice little run because it's about community. And I think if you build the community, you're going to be fine. Okay. But imagine, if you will, Blocky and Roger today said, hey man, I'm going to launch a game. And in this game, you're going to earn passive income by completing the game. So if you run through the game today and you play the game, then you win. Let's just say that the amount's going to be $9, which is going to be 42,000 Blocky. Okay. Let's just say that that's the game. If you complete the game on whatever level it is, then you win 40,000 Blocky, which is equivalent to about $9 or $10. Okay. If that happened and 30 people completed that game every day, then 30 people would be getting $10. That's $300. Within a week, liquidity would be $62,000. Within a month, liquidity would be under $59,000. Does that make sense? Because there's no revenue coming in. The revenue that gets generated off of it, there has to be money made. And if you're not making any money, then all you're doing is you're taking from the liquidity pool. And by the way, you are the contributor to that liquidity pool. You are the contributor to that liquidity pool. So when a developer does that and they say, hey, I've got this game and you can earn money from this game, it's your money. They're making you work to get your own money back. But there's a hope. The hope that they have is that maybe the game will take off. Maybe the game will go viral on Android or the App Store or something like that. Maybe it goes viral and maybe you make a bunch of ad revenue. You can do buyback and burn. You can do whatever the case may be. There's plenty of different ways to do it. But that's what the hope is. again, people are not you're not just getting scammed. What you're getting is you're getting people who have a pie in the sky idea of something that they would like to do. But the end result is if you don't bring in more money, the liquidity runs dry. So again, if Roger said to himself, I'm going to make a game because people like video games and stuff like that, but the game doesn't generate revenue on the app store or through ads, and the system does not add to the liquidity pool, then eventually you're going to run out of money. Eventually you run out of money. Now, some of these cryptos, I'll show you on Dex Tools, by the way, so that you can see it. And the reason I'm going to do that over here is because I'm not exactly sure how it works otherwise. But there we go. All right. Uniswap, okay? Uniswap's not a scam, but if you look over here, Uniswap V3 is how you trade DevE. There is a 0.3% fee for trading on Uniswap. But do you guys remember back in the old days? I know you do. I'm just kind of joking with it. But do you remember Ben Coin? You remember when Ben had all these different coins coming out, shit like that? If you were to ever look at Ben Coin, God damn, there's too many of them at this point, right? Like, let's don't hide inactive pairs. Ben Coin. Let's try that. I think it was 702E. I think that's it right there. No, that's not the one. Anyway, you can go through some of these. You can go through like Stray Dog. You can go through all of these different cryptos. And you can start looking for them. And as you look for them, you will find little words on some of these screens here that say that they take a 0.3% or a 0.4% fee. You know, they'll start. They're each one of these gets a little bit of money out of the liquidity pools for every buy and sell, and it's just a payment to the team, if you will, for whatever it is that they're doing, and it's written into their contract. Okay, so there is a possibility and a potential for you to generate revenue as long as you have trade volume on there. But again, that's not creating money. That's relying on new investors. So let's take this back here to the beginning. That is how the scam works. But let's go into a lot of different things here. For example, Ben Armstrong. You guys know that I spent a lot of time talking to Ben, spent a lot of time defending Ben Armstrong. One of the people that I'll put it this way. I get absolutely annoyed sometimes because I am, low totem pole guy, right? And if Ben were to come out publicly, who would he be talking about? Not me. He'd be talking about somebody like Carl Moon, who is telling you altcoin season is closer than you think. Does Carl know that? He has no idea. He has no idea. By the way, when I say that, that's no disrespect to Carl. Carl is engagement farming you. And that's the other piece to this equation. Sometimes we're engagement farming you. How are we engagement farming you? Well, let's go to Carl. Let's go pull up altcoin. And let's just do a search. On August 21st, altcoin season starts now. Okay, so we're already in altcoin season. However, Carl just told you altcoin season is closer than you think. Does that mean he doesn't know shit? I mean, I want you to think about this, okay? He's just engagement farming you because everybody wants altcoin season. We have anxiety. We're anxious about altcoin season, okay? August 21st, he says, buy any altcoin right now, sell in December, thank me later. Is that a valid strategy? I don't know, but I think so. I actually think that this is, so, and my point to this is, I think Carl's right in a lot of these instances, but he's also engagement farming you. And I'm going to show you just a little bit. Again, go right here. Buy any altcoin now. Thank me in 2 months. August 10, alt season has started. When ETH hits 8,745, I will give 1 ETH to 10 people who follow me. Again, that's an engagement farm. August 5th, alt season starts next week. August 4th, alt season starts now. August 22nd, I'm buying the dip. Altcoin season is coming. August 4th, it's now. And by the way, I'm gonna scroll way down here because he spends a lot of time talking about altcoin season is right now. Altcoin season right now. July 28th, it's about to kick off. Get ready or get left behind. August 12th starts. You notice this is over and over and over and over and over again. Do you notice a pattern here yet? So I just want, and my point here is, this is how you engagement farm. This is how you get more people to follow you over here so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do once you've got people following you. Like, for example, crypto go epic in Q4, legends hold. Exclusive coin flare start. Here we go. This is where it gets interesting. Now, once you've gotten all these followers, or once you've gotten all these people, then these people think that what you're saying is the truth. Carl does not have to be right at all, except once. Except once. Okay. Why is that the case? Because once he's right, and once he says, hey, it's going to start in September, it's going to run for 2 months. We know it's going to run for 2 months. It always runs for 2 months, maybe 3 months, something like that. Okay. So we know that. He only has to be right to capture a lot of attention. And the next, they will write history stories about him. Okay. Now, here, by the way, just so you guys understand, this is from ZachXBT. This is a leak that happened. This is the price sheet of 200 plus influencers and their wallet addresses from a project that they recently were contacted by to promote. In fact, I was reached out to and told that there were that there were a lot of KOLs that were being reached out to that were going to do this. Okay, a lot. They never reached out to me, by the way, you assholes. But anyway, you can see right here, if you want to know how much people are getting, Eddie XBT for a post on Twitter, $12,000 for 6 posts. Teddy Pillows, $9,000 for 4. Solid Trades, $5,000 for a post. Moon Debt. And by the way, these are a lot of these people are people that will tell you, I don't do promos, bro. I don't do shit like that. You know what I mean? But you can go down this list and you can see exactly how much they are making on this. We have one that we know, Deviled Megs, $1,200. Should make a video for you for X. Okay. So there are people out here who are making going down the list here. You can see, and you're going to see a lot of familiar names. Okay. You'll see a lot of familiar names on this list of people who are going to do one of these promos. And, you know, it sucks that they, kind of released the list and, kind of pulled that shit on you. If you were trusted or, whatever the case may be. But I mean, going up and down this list right here, you can see everybody who got paid, how much they got paid. And then you can go track their wallet and you can know exactly what they did with it. So that, and by the way, I don't have any idea what the project is, to be fair. Like, I have no idea what the project was, but you can see what's happening right there. Also, let me go back and tell you, back in 2021, what was going on. By the way, I'm not friends or associates with Zach Humphreys. Okay, I don't give a shit about Zach Humphreys in a positive or negative fashion. I've met him matter of fact, I've been on live streams with him, I think twice. Okay. I don't have a poor relationship or a bad relationship with him, but I want to say this. Back in 2021, Zach Humphreys, Austin Hilton, and Your Pop all had a game that they ran where if you advertise with Zach, you had to advertise with the other guys. And they got, I think it was 1% of supply on everything that they did a promo for. You'd have to pay, I think it was $10,000 each. So you either pay $30,000 or give them 1% of supply on any meme coin that you wanted to be pumped. And they would all make videos So it would be like an ecosystem. And they were making about $500,000 a month during the last bull run. Think about how much money they made. They extracted liquidity from you. They extracted liquidity from you. Okay. Now, they didn't mean to do that. It's a job. I mean, like for me, this is a job. This is what I do. And by the way, I am passionate about what I do. Jay Manuel says, that's how I found you, believes, on one of his lives. There you go. I was on his live, I think, twice. And again, I don't have anything bad to say about him. And when I say this, by the way, I'm giving you behind the scenes details that I know that they made ridiculous amounts of money, but they made it by dumping on everybody who bought. And by the way, I should say this just so you guys understand, they don't owe you holding. They don't owe you something. Like they're not required to hold on to stuff forever just so you feel better, right? Get paid. Get fucking paid. Okay? Look, I've said this before. You know that I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, okay? He turned a $431 million inheritance from his father in 30 years into a $431 million empire. He would have been better off. Donald Trump, by the way, just in case you guys don't understand, until the grift that he started with crypto, until he started with the meme coin and the Trump coin, all that kind of stuff, until he made $1 billion in crypto, Donald Trump's a horrible businessman. He's bankrupted like 7 different companies, okay? He's turned a $431 million empire in 30 years into a $431 million empire. Like, he sucked at this. Not very good. However, he was very good at entertaining people. So he was able to parlay his charisma. He was able to parlay all of that and eventually find his way to absolute incredible wealth. The presidency helped a little bit. I would say that. I would say it's fair to say that once you started to create fans, once he started to use his celebrity to create fans and stuff like that, I think it became easier. It became way easier for him to do. But again, he's not a great businessman. He's never been a great businessman. That does not mean, by the way, that tariffs don't work, okay? Or things like that, things that we're doing. It doesn't mean that they don't work. It doesn't mean that I'm opposed to them. As a matter of fact, I support tariffs. I think tariffs are I think that what he did with tariffs, it's the right move. I think it's hilarious that he's lying to people that you don't pay the tariffs because, like, are you that dumb? Like, nobody's that dumb. You know that the tariffs are coming out of your pocket and not somebody else's. Like, you're not stupid, but you should be honest with people about it. You know what I mean? Those are the things that I don't like, but I do like the tariffs. I do think that it's important to buy American. I think it's important for us to build all of these kind of things, right? However, again, not a great businessman. But here's the thing. Once you make your money, nobody cares anymore. Okay? Nobody gives a shit. Okay? Nobody gives a shit that Elon Musk has grifted so many people. Nobody cares that Elon Musk robbed so many people. Nobody cares because he made it. Nobody cares how many companies, and this is going to be, I started with Elon Musk. He's probably not the best example because actually, when you take it out of Elon Musk, I think Elon Musk is probably one of the more honest billionaires that you will end up finding, despite the fact that I don't like him. Okay. Bill Gates gives a lot through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and blah, 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 blah. Do you know how many companies he destroyed? How many companies he bought up? How many companies he used VC companies to bury over the years? Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer, Steve Jobs, all of these tech bros, Larry Ellison, are pieces of shit. They are garbage. They destroyed business after business after business after business to get where they are. And guess what? We don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. You know why? Because we got an iPhone. We don't give a shit because we got a Google phone. We don't care because we got a Microsoft operating system. We don't care. But they stole from everybody. And that's what I mean by this, right? it doesn't matter how Zach Humphreys made his million or two or whatever Zach Humphreys made. Doesn't matter how you got there. The fact is he got there, the end. Okay. So let's just, and Trump did not invent rugging. He just invented bankrupting casinos. Like nobody had ever bankrupted a casino. Classy Crypto made so much money, he became Jesus. Well, there you have it. By the way, like it should be said here, like we don't know. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know if a project sometimes is legitimate or not, because all the pieces are going to be in place for that. To like, you got to fool me before you start. And what do I tell you? I told you how to do your own research last week. Look at the contract address. Can they steal money from you? If the answer to that is no, how can they steal money from you? You know what I mean? And that's by getting some of the supply maybe or something like that. Like there's different ways, okay? But you can't speculate on those kinds of things. Like you can't speculate. Here's what I can say. If you're buying a meme coin, it's going to zero at some point. It doesn't mean that it won't go up to 20 million or 30 million or 40 million or 50 million, but it means eventually it will go to zero, okay? End of story. But you should make your gains out of it along the way by buying the bottom, selling the top. You should make your gains. And again, no disrespect to Zach Humphreys. Zach Humphreys played the game and he played it very well. He found people. By the way, Zach Humphreys didn't know shit. Okay. I think he was a school teacher and didn't know shit about crypto. Austin did, Your Pop did. They brought him in kind of, he found his way through the same mechanism. They kind of came up together. I think Your Pop had about 100 and something thousand subscribers at the time. Helped Zach kind of build Zach Humphreys' little empire that he's got going on. But he didn't know shit about crypto. He learned along the way. I mean, a lot of us did, obviously. But, so again, no disrespect to Zach Humphreys, but they had a game that they were running and they were extracting the liquidity out of all these meme coins and taking your money. Roger, my buddy, he sent me this guy just a little while ago, said, I was thinking about this guy as maybe an influencer or something like that. Roger, if you're watching, my bad. I don't want to, I'm not trying to dime this one out, but he said, could you review this guy and let me know what you think? So I said, sure. He's got 100 posts. He's got 4 million followers. He's following 830 people. And I was like, all right, that's pretty good. Look at this. Splitting the bill, 8,000 likes, 52 comments. That's pretty good. 46,000 likes, 467, 2,541. These are, and by the way, these are all like cryptos and stuff like that he's doing. What about when he's doing some just drink that he's got? Only 300 likes and 20 comments. Something wrong with that, right? Because there's 32,000 right here and only 300 here, and then 4,000 here and 32,000 here and 17,000 here, 21,000 here and 57,000 here and 78,000 here and 68,000 here. And then his family, 64,000, his other family here, 4,000. Something's wrong here. So buy likes on Instagram. Okay. High quality likes for 1,000 likes is $13. By the way, I don't know that's, I don't know how good, bad, or indifferent this place is. Okay. But if you get 10,000 likes, to get 10,000 likes on a video, $88.99. Now, if I got 10,000 likes on a YouTube video, if I got 10,000 likes on a YouTube video, that would mean, if you just kind of look at the number of likes versus the number of views and stuff like that, that would mean I had about 100 or 200,000 views on that video. So if I had 200,000 views, I would make over $2,000 for that video, or close to $2,000 for that video. So is it worth me paying $300 for 30,000 likes? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? Because then I get 500,000 people watching one video, which would be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. So, there's levels to this shit. There's levels to this shit. And this guy is basically, I think he's farming. Now, here's where I'm going to show you guys behind the wool. You guys remember I used to post shit constantly? Here it is right here. This is called Hype Fury, okay? And what I have is 10 a.m. I have Meme Coin Madness. Then I have 10:10. I have my Instagram slot. Then I have a LinkedIn slot. I never use them, but I have them. Then I've got at 11 o'clock Meme Coin Madness. Then there's one I set for 12 o'clock. Now I've removed all of these because I'm no longer doing it. Because you guys might notice I post way less on X right now. But here's what I can do. There's my queue, and then there's my schedule, and then am I logged in here? Yeah. All right. So here's my dashboard. So on the dashboard, when you look at it, you can see recurrent posts right here. Here's my schedule for recurrent posts. Monday through Friday, I had exchanges being posted, and here's my categories. Cryptos, I had 22 posts here. I had 7 bullish posts. I had 10 exchange posts and 65 Meme Coin Madness posts, and then 14 sign me ups. So if I go in here and I look at what was posted in here, takes a second for it to load, by the way. But this is, what was this? This is cryptos. So what I'm doing right now is I can always go in here and I can make new stuff all the time, right? What I can do is I can just replace each one of these, right? It says here, institutional crypto investors are scamming you daily, and here's how they do it. Watch till the end. And that's me sending you a video telling you how people are scamming you all the time. Then over here, I've got my prediction for the Devi token price for 2025, $50, which is about 33x by the end of the year. I'm still bullish, by the way. I haven't changed that. I don't use it anymore, but I haven't changed it. And by the way, if you pay for the process, it tells you how much engagement you get. Then you have, so what meme coin are we buying today? I have it. I have ready to ape into something. By the way, if you type it weird and you fuck up the spelling really good, then people get annoyed by that and they have to comment on that, and that's more engagement. So just so you guys know, sometimes if you just spell things all fucked up, it helps people pay more attention. Here's one about Fiat. Here's one about XRP. Here's one about Bitcoin predictions, 250,000 now that real Donald Trump is president. Here's the truth is that Bitcoin is pretty stupid. It takes control of money away from central banks. It gives people freedom to exchange goods without banks involved and prevents the government from seeing everything you do. It's a joke, right? But these things would go nonstop. By the way, look how fat I was. Like, Jesus Christ. It's like Bleaves ate Bleaves, and I was wearing a bigger Bleaves over the top of me. Do you know what I mean? Fuck my life. How fat was I? Jesus Christ. Anyway, going down the list, I have a bunch of these, and you can use Hype Fury to do that. And what it does is it just engagement farms for you. It's just engagement farms for you. You can use an AI for that. By the way, I need a developer to create an AI so that I can use for that. Now, let's talk about Da Vinci Jeremy. For those of you that don't know, when I talk about this and I tell you that Carl the Moon only needs he only needs to be right one time, here's what I mean. Da Vinci Jeremy, I told you to buy Bitcoin for $1 in 2011. Okay. That is what people say. And there's a video of him in 2011 saying to buy Bitcoin. Okay. Now, he has turned that into, by the way, get the fuck out of wherever he lived and moved to Dubai because he made a bunch of money off Bitcoin. He's been here since April of 2011. And he has 854,000 followers. Now, what is he doing with that? Is he retired, living the dream because he made so much money off of Bitcoin? Oh, fuck no. No. What is he doing? He's using his influence to tell you that this meme coin is going to a 13 million USD. This meme coin has been flying under the radar, but with strong community support and solid technicals, ORC could reach an incredible 13 million market cap. Don't miss out on this potential breakout. And you know, what is it going to be? It is here. He's just shilled to 164,000 the ORC token. The ORC token at this point, August 28th, market cap of 1.2 million. Maybe it went to 13 million. Oh, no. It did not. Went to 1.75 million. By the way, it went up to 19 million last year. Now they're paying Da Vinci Jeremy to see if they can use his influence to get his people to buy the ERC token to run it back up so that they can then exit or get some exit liquidity. And where is the cap on it? He's giving you the cap. And by the way, he's giving it to you in the right spot, like 13 million market cap right there. Like that's the top of the range. That's probably where it's going to go. You know what I mean? Problem with that is that thesis basically invalidated. This is dead. You know, it'll have a few pumps here and there. Maybe during the altcoin cycle, if we get that altcoin cycle, like I think we are, maybe it'll run up. Maybe it'll do 13 million. Maybe. But it doesn't matter whether it will or will not. He is telling you that if you buy it right now, you might get an easy 10x out of this. And by the way, if you start scrolling down here, this meme coin won't rug pull. Like one day earlier, I told you to buy Bitcoin at $1. Now meet waffles. So what is he doing with it? He's using his crowd as exit liquidity. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly what's happening. By the way, again, no offense to him. No offense to him. But that's what's happening. Link OX. Now, I don't know who this person is. I follow them. They follow me. This is an engagement farmer and a crazy engagement farmer. Okay. September is luck. September is cash. I turn massive income into passive income and, you know, blah, 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 all of those kind of things. And then they will post stuff like this. If you know, you know. And I've been looking into Protocol Forest lately. And by the way, I think Protocol Forest might be the one that we were talking about just recently where they're, you know, where there's a bunch of people that are, you know, I just showed that to you from Zach XBT. And they got paid $12,000. Link OX, I don't know they did their research, but they got paid $12,000 to make a post. So and they were on the list. You can go look at Zach XBT if you want to. But I mean, again, they're using the fact that they're doing this. Life will knock you down to humble your ass. They put out these motivational tweets and stuff like that to get more people to pay attention. More people pay attention, then more people buy, then they can charge more in price when price go up or down. Okay, that's exactly what's happening. Also, there's the Protocol Forest right there. This is what it is. Has 15,000 followers. It's following exactly 5 people: Gate, Binance, Euler, and Zverse. I don't know what any of that shit is, but you know, and I don't know if that's the one, by the way. But again, this is how this works. Okay, so let's keep going a little bit further because now we're going to stop for a moment and wait a minute. There were a few more things. We did Volt. Here it is. All right, CC. For those of you that you know, look, CC. You guys know on Friday, all of the projects there basically rugged out. Okay. I'm not here to defend CC, but I'm going to give you my opinion. So she deleted everything, deleted her account, everything. Okay. And then re-engaged the account on Saturday. Okay. And said, hey guys, did I miss anything? I was going to just go away and probably still will after one last article, but I keep hearing how awful I am, what a scammer I am, a coward, you name it. So I'm back and I'll have a full confession explanation for you soon. The who, what, and why. My name is already trash, but some need to be cleared and some others not so much. If you made assumptions and put them out there without talking to me first, well, you better hope your own closet is clean. Talk to you soon. So, what happened with CC? All right. So the question is, look, this is very simple. Okay. And again, I will rely on your ability to do your own research. Okay. There were about 200 wallets that were buying CC coin, that were buying blockchain beauties, that were buying Bud2. And I'm going to challenge you to go find them, go look at who's buying, and then find out what wallet they were coming from. Because here's the thing. All roads are going to lead back to one place. Okay. Now, I'm out $3,000. Okay. To be fair here, I lost $3,000 because I didn't sell. Okay. Because I didn't sell. That was my choice. And I don't like it. I don't like it because I put a lot of faith, like a lot of people. I put a lot of faith that this project would have that moment. Remember, I gave you a 10 million market cap, and I said, look, I think that a 10 million market cap would be great, right? Sorry, but you're all in it to line your own pockets. No shit. And this, by the way, and I don't, and Soltaire, no disrespect to you, okay? But these comments are some of the silliest bullshit that you've ever seen, because it implies it implies that I should be working for free or doing everything for free just to entertain you. That's the dumbest shit ever. It really is. And again, that's no disrespect to you. You're in a culture, we're in a culture where that is what is expected. Here is why I'm saying that. CC built CC Coin a year ago, okay? She built it a year ago. She had her own small business, and she couldn't afford from her own small business to make ends meet. So she had to work. She still has a job. She still goes to work every day. She still does what she does. Okay? Because this didn't work out. But she worked it for a year. She did it over and over and over again. She got up every day. She put in the work. You wanted to send her a message, she replied to you. She put in the work when she didn't have to. She did everything when she needed to do it so that you guys potentially could get a nice little run. Of course, she would make money too. She locked her coins up for a year. Guess what? A year was up, a year came due, and after 1 year, by the way, she didn't pull the liquidity. But a year came up. When the year came up, she sold her tokens. For 1 year, she worked on this project for zero money. For zero money. And today decides that she's going to actually pay herself back some of the money. And by the way, just so you guys understood, and I can't verify this. This is from CC's words, and I really don't have reason to question it. But she was going to work, she was making money, then she was using that money to buy CC coins and protect the chart, and handle market makers and stuff like that, or create her own market makers, whatever the case may be. To be fair, I don't know the answer to that, but I do know she continued to put her own money into it in the hopes. And by the way, if she had waited 60 days, the results might be different. She might be at a 5 or 10 million market cap. It might have actually made it at that point, because she just didn't make it to the bull run. You know what I mean? And that's just it. Soltaire says, that's exactly why I understand you have to make a living. I wouldn't do it just for fun. Exactly. But here's the point. I don't have to, for me, I like, this is my job. Okay. This is my job. So there are times when I take jobs that I don't like. I'm going to show you one right now. Cryptonomy, Nomi.fi, Nomi.fi, whatever it is. I was partnering with these guys for a very, very long time. They're still around, by the way, and they're still not out of business. So let me just say that. But here we are, right? That's not my money. This is a dummy account that they gave me a long time ago. Okay. Now, here's what I'm going to say to you regarding this. I didn't actually know, or let me rephrase that. I didn't actually understand at that point that, because what I was looking for was a copy trade account. I was like, give me a copy trade account with $1,000 in it, and I'll just do the transactions and stuff like that, and then you can see how it grows from there. Instead of doing that, they threw $200,000 in, or $100,000, $500,000. I don't remember the exact amount. They just threw a bunch of money into it, and I kept saying, like, I don't need that. Like, I don't understand, like, what the fuck you're doing, right? And I think that what it was is they were looking to tell me, they were looking to convince me that, or they were looking to convince you that I had hundreds of thousands of dollars and that you should be following me because I'm putting hundreds of $1,000s in their project. Okay, that's what I think was happening. And look, I can't say that is or is not the case. This is me speculating on this, but I think I'm right about it. But they were paying me $1,500 a month plus a bonus. The bonus was only $100 or $200. Okay, so every day I was advertising for Cryptonomy and with $1,500 a month plus, again, a little bit of a bonus. And then about 8 or 9 months ago, people started having trouble cashing out. When they started having trouble cashing out, I probably should have known at that point there was a problem. And I mean a big problem. I probably at that point should have known. But I'm an idiot. I'm an asshole. I'm a moron. I don't pay attention. And by the way, I needed $1,500 a month. So what did I do? I went to them and I said, hey guys, what the fuck? And they said, and this is what they told me. They told me that they bundle up their assets just like Coinbase does. They bundle up their assets and send them to a third party. Sometimes what they do is they take, like, let's say, for example, I put in 20 Solana. 5 days later, CoinOn puts in the same amount of Solana. Couple days later, Derek Hine does the same thing. Couple days later, Selmo does the same thing. Now, they're sending a bundle of 50 Solana to this staking organization for 6 months. They don't have the capital on hand if I want my money out. They send it to these people to be staked for like 6 months to a year to get the maximum yield rewards, because in order for you to get the maximum yield rewards, you have to stake it for a long period of time so that those companies can let your money work, okay? So when my time is up, I hit the extract and give me my motherfucking money button, but it took them a month before they bundled up the asset and sent it to the staker. So now I have to wait a month to get my money back. I staked for 6 months. At 6 months, they won't give me my money back, okay? That was happening. And that's what they told me was the reason. Then they told me that they were partnering with the Mubarak Group from Dubai, and that the Mubarak Group had about $70 million, and that this would fix all of their problems. Okay, problem solved. Well, I have a bunch of friends here who have staked with NoMeFi, and guess what? They were not getting their money even after that. So then I reached out to NoMeFi, and I'm like, hey, with all due respect, what the fuck? And they said, oh, yeah, those people are just whining and bitching. And that's when I knew, fuck. And that's all I can say at that point. Like, fuck. So, and by the way, just so you guys know, my account is still sitting there. Like, they didn't even delete my account. They're just, letting it sit there right now, like an interest-bearing account. And by the way, look how slow this website is. I just clicked on the interest account, and it's just still processing. Takes fucking forever on this website. Like, and then you have your fixed staking and stuff like that, but it wasn't real. So anyway, my long-term point to that was, she put in a year's worth of work for no money, and then didn't rug pull. Where did it go? Where did my, God damn it. You know what? I really suck at this one times. There we go. CCC. Right there. Sell, sell. When you go down here, you'll start to see sell, 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 sell. And she's selling her coins for hundreds of dollars about 3 or 4 days ago. There we go. As you keep going down here, you'll find that there's big sell after big sell after big sell. By the way, there's still $16,000 in liquidity sitting in there. That's not a rug pull. So if you're thinking that's a rug pull, you're a fucking dum-dum. Like if you go and you check the facts, the developer just cashed out after 1 year and decided they weren't going to continue doing the project. They don't owe you a business that they work forever for free. So am I upset with it? Yes. Yes. But also, she put in the work. She did everything she could to try to make a successful project for herself and for you, and it didn't work. And at some point, the money dries up. The money dries up. You know, and I'll be honest with you guys, it dries up. In 2022, just to give you guys some full disclosure, in 2022, in February, I made $42,000. In the month of February of 2022, I made $42,000 making videos. In March of 2022, I made $27,000 making videos. In April of 2022, I made $16,000 making videos. Okay. I just want you guys to know those are the numbers. That's what I made during that period of time. I haven't made anything near that since. Okay. In February of this year, I made $14,000. March, I want to say 6,000. May, June, July, 4 or 5,000. Because I have crypto and savings, I'm not in a bad situation, but I was getting $2,000 a month from Devi, which I never cashed out, by the way. I never sold it, but that was filling my bag of Dev E, so I didn't have to buy Dev E. So, you know, I loaded up and never sold, and I'm still holding on to it. I had some MK. I ended up selling that one because I needed to pay some bills. And then Pablo reached out to me a little while back, and we start talking about MK again. So, you know, hopefully, maybe we'll continue to do that. But I'm not selling that one either until we get a nice big pump off of it. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of times when I'm doing this stuff, when I do this kind of stuff with, you know, I'm taking MK in tokens because I wanted their tokens. I'm taking DevE payment in tokens because I want their tokens. I do the same thing with Roger and Blocky because I want Blocky tokens. I want to accumulate Blocky because look, I don't think Rocky was the greatest of ideas. I certainly don't think Crocky was the greatest idea. I don't think 100x Solana was the greatest of ideas. I like Blocky in the beginning, and I think that Blocky should be we should be focused on Blocky and finding ways to make Blocky more attractive to investors. Okay. But that's not my project. So, you know, whatever. But I still want to accumulate Blocky. So if Roger reaches out to me and says, hey, I'll give you more Blocky to talk about Blocky, we'll be talking about Blocky. Right? Each pump. Okay. So Roy says each pump's less and less. Let me tell you what happened. Okay. When Roger launched Blocky, he then said he was going to launch Rocky. And I mean, I'm not going to show you my chat with Roger, But I told Roger right away, this is a bad idea. All you're doing is extracting liquidity from people. He doesn't see it that way. Because it's not really him. It's just the early insiders. It's the insiders who are early. Look, we all made a good amount of money on what is the we just talked about it. Puff. We all made a bunch of money on Puff. Then Roger said, you know what? Let's do something, see if we can't make some more money on something that I put out, which was Blocky. Well, then Blocky pumps, and we make a little bit of money on Blocky. Now, I didn't cash out, so I didn't make the money. But a matter of fact, my Blocky bag, I'm pretty sure I had 1,000 or 3,000 at some point in Blocky. It's like $300 right now, $200 right now. So as always, if I sell, I'm an asshole. If I don't sell, I just don't make any fucking money. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's my story, but I'm not here to give you that. You know what I mean? But that is what happens. That really is what happens. If I sell, I'm an asshole. I'm Zach Humphreys. I'm Austin Hilton. I'm Your Pop. I'm all these guys. You know, if I don't sell, then it goes down and I don't make any money. You know what I mean? I can't even pay my bills in that context. You know what I mean? So that is the way that it is, though. So anyway, as far as this goes, to close out CC right here, she put in the work, she put in the time, she put in the effort, she put everything she had into making something happen here, and it just didn't happen. Okay, it just didn't happen. So at some point, she can't afford to prop up everybody. Now, there are some things to deal with here. Somebody said, so I heard some were made whole. I want my $500 back. I wasn't made whole. Coin Watcher says, I was shocked. Didn't think you would just disappear with no explanation. You've been so positive, consistent, and supportive of all of crypto. I literally see you supporting everybody. So I don't understand what's going on that cannot be overcome. It's been a year and she's paying you guys to be investors. I mean, basically, that's what it is. Here, CC, what's going on? You are dropping Sol into my wallet. I don't know. Today seems to be the day that she's going to actually put out the explanation. I don't see it yet. So, yeah, I don't see it yet. By the way, I talked to Lena. I talked to Annabelle. You know, I talked to some of these young ladies about blockchain beauties and stuff like that. And I think it was Meg. I think it was Meg that was the deviled Megs that was the biggest problem. The one that got paid for the other, you know, for the other shill. Unlike me, who just kind of holds things forever, they sell to pay their bills. So, you know, basically in so many different contexts, if you don't sell, the influencers, the KOLs like me, I mean, other than me, I guess, are dumping on you. And they're taking liquidity out and the chart's going down. If you don't find enough new people to come in, then you're sunk. And by the way, let me go to, what is it? Blockchain Beauties. There we go. Blockchain Beauties. On Blockchain Beauties, and this is ridiculous right here because it didn't go that high. That was some kind of scam wick right there. But I mean, just kind of look at so going down this list here, this thing never went over 150,000 market cap. Or well, let me rephrase that. Let me go back here. It never went over 400,000 market cap. I think on the launch it was four. It never went over 500,000 market cap. Okay. There's these scam wicks right here, but those are not real. They did not happen. It never went over 500,000 market cap. When we reached that point right there, it was at 40,000 market cap. So when you see Derek Hine earlier, he said, oh yeah, I'm sure she bought Bitcoin with it. With what? This thing only had a $40,000 market cap. With what? 40,000 market cap means that there was $1,000 or $2,000 in liquidity. And start going around the list, you're going to find that everywhere. Also, remember, CC Coin still has 16,000 in liquidity, so she didn't even take that. See what I'm saying? Like, you guys got to learn what rug pulls are. You guys got to learn what rug pulls are, because this was not it. Anyway, there was no money there. Here we go. There's the removal of 1.8 million blockchain beauties, which was 0.003 SOL. That was 46 minutes ago. We got to go back a couple days here and see, like, there's got to be a big removal, right? Got to be a big removal here of tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of money, and there's not. It's almost like somebody's just selling and not really rugging. I don't know what's going on here. There we go. There we go. Now we got it. 3 days and 7 hours ago, there was 4 Solana. And I mean, again, you go down the list here, there's 4 Solana in it. So I don't know what Bitcoin you bought with 4 Solana, but so anyway, there's probably a better way to do this. There probably was, but you know, the reality is CC put in a year of work and it just didn't work out. And it would have been nice to wait a couple more months to see the bull run and see it play out and stuff like that. But even if it did, would it have mattered? That would be the question. Would it have mattered? And I don't know that it would. I think it's going to go to 10 million market cap. I think there was some opportunity right there, but I don't know. If it was going to cost you another few $1,000s to get there for maybe, I mean, you know, that's not the play. That's not the move. So anyway, and I know we're getting a little bit long on this one today. We're at 10 and a half, you know, we're an hour and 30 minutes right now. Guys, I apologize. You know, look, I'm trying to, by the way, I need to do something about my, like, do my thumbnails suck that bad? They do, don't they? I need to do better. Anyway, we're going to skip almost everything today. Bull run indicators. None hit. Keep holding on. You're going to be fine. Don't be a bitch. As far as this goes, we're going to do daily. We'll look at the top 100 right now. Top 100, we're down a little bit on some of them. Mostly down. Today is going to be it's a non-business day. Tomorrow investors return to, so you're going to see some real volatility starting tomorrow in this market with the United States investors. But let me tell you why you should be excited about the U.S. investors. We're at 46, by the way, on the fear and greed indicator. And we had a huge dump, by the way, over here on the weekend. We had a huge dump of Bitcoin on exchange, which means it's going back down. When we look at the Friday, it was an outflow of 126 million on the ETH ETF. It was an outflow of massive outflow, by the way, 164 million. So, boom. All right, now. Oh, and there's a new tool over here, by the way, on if you guys have not seen it on TradingView, I'll show you just 1 second. Market's up $7 billion on the day, but everything seems to be down. But Bitcoin money seems to be flowing into Bitcoin while everything else is seeming to collapse. That's exactly what happens all the time. Capital outflow. We're getting to the point where that, you know, like, I think that big move is coming, you know, but I don't know. It looks like Bitcoin is about to run. So if Bitcoin starts to run again, I told you before, we're not going to go into altcoin season unless Bitcoin starts to pop one more time. Bitcoin dominance broke down all the way to the bottom right here. And I told you that if that happened, if it actually broke down to the bottom, there could be a strong reversal, right? Now, here's the thing. Looks more like that right there. So if we get a break back upwards, then it's going to suck for altcoins. Okay. It's going to suck for altcoins before it starts to rip. But I think that if we want, if we really want an altcoin season, we're going to need to see Bitcoin rip and then dip. Okay. I don't think that this kind of drop off right here is what we were looking for. So I think that Bitcoin has to run super hard. Matter of fact, World Liberty Financial. Let's see if we got anything on crypto. How is it different than a meme coin? How is it different than a meme coin, guys? I ask you. How is it different than a meme coin? Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I don't want to listen to this. Anyway, so I expect, by the way, the natural market correction I gave you guys the other day, 3.51 trillion. I think we're coming back down to 3.51 trillion. Where does that mean Bitcoin's going to go? Like Bitcoin's already gone to the spot where I told you. It looks like it could go down to about 105 at this point. I would not be surprised to see, some kind of where were we? We broke down below this, broke down below this. Where's the next sort of level here? The next level is 105,690, kind of right there. If we lose that as support, then we're coming down to 100,000. So, that's what the market's telling us. So, we'll see what happens. Let's move on from that. And now you guys have a better understanding of crypto scams, how we extract millions of dollars from you. We're not trying, for me, to be perfectly blunt with you guys. For me, what I miss of anything is that Devi partnership, because that was my crypto investment nest egg sort of thing. So I really liked that one. And I love the fact that I'm partnered with Terra Luna Classic every month. Again, that also pays $1,500 a month. So, and then the rest I make up for with shills and stuff like that. Now, in the event that you guys who watch me and enjoy the content become members of my channel, in the event that you guys join me and you become a member, and I can go from, we have 39,000 subscribers right now. If I can get to 50,000 subscribers, and we can get 1,000 people that are supporters, $4.99 a month. If I can get to that level, my problems are not over, but it's very different. I don't have to take a shill project. You know what I mean? And this, to me, is the most important part. We're going to start doing some more trading. We're going to start doing, every time I say I'm going to do that, something comes up and my time gets crunched and, things just get like, and shit like that. Margex is sponsoring me for a couple of videos. Weeks is sponsoring me for some videos. KCX is sponsoring me for some videos. We're gonna do some trading. We're gonna run some trading stuff, and we're gonna build in that regard. So yes, there is a lot more trading content coming. It's just, it's something that it's something that it takes. I feel bored or boring. Let me say that. I feel boring when I'm doing trading content, because I feel like I can't have, like, I don't know, the passion doesn't, I don't feel like it translates. Maybe it does, and I'm just an idiot, but I don't feel like it translates. So that's why I try to, try to do something else. But anyway, that's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. And this is not financial advice. I'm always right. We will see you guys tomorrow. You have a good day, and enjoy your Labor Day. Go get you some hot dogs or whatever it is that you eat. And don't take any of my jokes seriously. We'll see you guys.
I'm looking for the good life, good life.